Hey guys, this is Locke. In this video, I'm going to share with you a 1-star August build that I'm going to be using. In my video yesterday, I talked about a 2-star build, actually the build on the screen right now, that you can use to pull off his rage combo on the very first turn. And then I said that I was probably going to rush him to 2-star very fast and leave him there and, focus on my other priorities. I've actually changed my mind on that. I think I'm actually going to leave him at 1-star for a little bit longer than I anticipated, and then after that, rush him to 3 stars. So why am I leaving him at 1-star? Because I have other priorities, Sophia, Gloria, and Cocoa, that I'm going to focus on instead. My Gloria is 23 shards away from 5-star, so I'm actually going to finish her first because she's about the same time as getting him to August to 1-star anyway. So I'm going to finish her first, and after I'm done with her, then I'm going to move to August, and he is probably going to be at 1-star for like 8 plus 7 days, so like 15 days, right? And after that, I'm also going to keep going to get him to 3-star because I think it's worth it for the Rage Outburst 2, which adds 70% of M attack to physical attack instead of Rage Outburst 1. So I think that's actually a much bigger deal than the stacks of rage that he starts with. So I really want to take advantage of that. So I'm instead going to focus on getting him to 3rd-star, but not right now. Right now he's going to stay at 1-star, and he is for another 15 odd days. And then I'm going to, push him to 3 stars. So in the meantime, what am I going to do with him? I'm not going to just keep him waiting and not use him. I actually have figured out a nice build for him that I'm going to use with my team setup. So in yesterday's build, I was kind of talking about using Hassle and Contempt together to make him get hit to generate rage. Because regardless of the stars that you have, only the initial rage is affected by the stars. Like even if you have 5 stars, there's no rage generation from here except for the first turn. So after the first turn, when you have used your combo or whatever you're done, now what? Like, how is he going to generate rage? And so I've talked about using the shield from Hassle and also the 2 rage that you get from Hassle and combine it with Contempt so that when you get hit and your shield is up, or even if your shield is down, you still get rage from it. In addition to that, like Hassle does give you 20% damage reduction as well, which will stack with the 15% damage reduction from Contempt. So he's not that weak when it comes to taking damage. So I feel like that's a pretty okay way to play him. For me personally, it just doesn't work with my team because my team that I'm already playing has Sophia in it, and she has basically 0 cooldown on this thing because I'm running her with the Kambe and the flag, and so I'm using Shadowless Blade every turn, and I'm expecting her to get hit with it. So it's really like inefficient to then throw August in there and want him to get hit so that he can generate rage. It just doesn't really work for me, right? For at least for my team and how I'm playing my team. So instead I had to find a different way to play him and some other way of generating rage, and that's how I came to the build that I'm using right now. So the idea behind the build that I'm using now is, since the flag is already on the field for me, right? So I'm going to be using that to reduce the cooldown of this from 3 to 2, that I can spam this basically every single turn. So the first turn I will use Swift Wrath and Wrath Snap. Sorry, I'm just going to say the second names. So the first turn I'm going to use Swift and Snap, and then the third turn, let me start again. The first turn I'm going to use Swift and Snap. The second turn I'm going to use Sorch. Okay? And then the third turn, this thing's cooldown actually starts when you use it the very first turn. So by the third turn, this will already be on cooldown because I'm using the flag. It'll be 2 turns. So I can use Swift and Snap again on the third turn. And then the fourth turn, I can use Scorch. Fifth turn, Swift and Snap. Sixth turn, Scorch. So on and so on and so on. So every turn, I'm basically spamming the skill, and this is going to be able to generate 3 rage every 2 turns, which is faster than 1 every turn, right? Which is what we've been otherwise stuck with. So I feel like that's that's also another way of using him that's going to generate rage. And how do I build him in such a way? Well, if I'm not expecting him to get hit at all, and if the map is pretty small, then he's only going to be using this. He doesn't even have any time to use anything else, right? So in that case, I would probably just bring passives, those two passives to increase his attack. And sorry, not that. I would also use the other reaction because I'm not expecting him to get hit, so I don't really need damage reduction. So I would do that. However, I find that in most maps, there's usually a turn in between. Like, he's not attacking every turn. Like, there's usually some time that he's waiting before he attacks, right? Like, he might attack, he might use these, and like maybe turn 1 and turn 2 he attacks, but turn 3 there's just no enemies that he can attack. So in that case, I'd probably actually use this, right? And this actually has another use as well, because if you recall in my previous video, if he is at 6 stacks and he doesn't have anything to attack, he can't just wait to trigger rage. Like, he has to actually attack or use a skill to trigger rage. So if he has a movement of 3 and enemies are not in range, but if you had a movement of 6 and enemies are in range, I could use Hassle to trigger his rage skill. So he would walk 3 steps, use Hassle, walk 3 more steps, and then use whatever attack he's going to use. So I feel like Hassle has other benefits, and even if he's not getting hit directly, I feel like there are enough enemies that do AoE attacks that I don't think it's a waste to bring Contempt, because he's still going to get hit here and there. Like, it's no longer the main way for me to generate rage, but I'll probably keep this as a build, even though I'm mostly going to be spamming this one. Maybe if the map is like extremely small and every turn he's just going to attack because there's just no way to not get hit by anything. Like, enemies will always be in range every single turn until the battle's over. Then maybe I might think of doing this, maybe. But for the most like general kind of use, this is still probably the way I'm going to set it up and use him. So yeah, well, why don't I just show you a very quick demonstration just in case. Oh, sorry, one more thing I want to mention. There's another skill order that you have to pay attention to. So the very first turn, he starts with 0 rage at 1 star. So he uses Swift, uses Snap, and then the turn 2 he uses Scorch. Now turn 3 he uses Swift and uses Snap again. Now when it comes to turn 4, he has 5 rage, right? So if he uses Scorch, he will then trigger rage, but I don't really want to do that. I want him to use the rage, like I want him to use Scorch when he already has rage. It'll do so much more damage. So in that case, on turn 4, I will actually just use a normal attack. And this normal attack is a charged attack, so that means the damage of the next skill will increase by 15%. So now, that Scorch that I'm using, which deals 160% attack, 160% damage, that will have an increased damage modifier of 15% on top of the 160%. So that'll deal massive damage, right? So the skill rotation will be something like Swift, Snap, Scorch, then Swift, Snap, normal attack, and then Scorch. And then basically you start all over, right? So I just want to show you a quick demonstration of, just to show you that this works. I'm not gonna, well, let's go to it and then I will talk about it. So he's gonna start here and we're gonna drop the flag somewhere close by. Oops. Okay, so we're gonna put the flag over there and he's going to go and use his first skill. And then, there's nothing here, but I just want to use the skill to show you, right? So he does that, and then the next turn, now he's going to use this one. And he has more rage than I usually would because he's getting hit by all these enemies. But as you can see, the cooldown for this, so this is turn 3. This is, can you see from, yeah, round 3. And this thing is off cooldown, so I can use it again. So that's how this works. And if it just so happens that you need to use this at a time when he has 6 rage, that's honestly not a problem either, because if you'll see, he can use this, he can use his other skill, and then he can still use the other skill. So when he starts next turn, he will be at he'll have 1 turn of cooldown. He'll probably be doing a normal attack, and then he'll be able to use this skill. So the reason that I am using, the reason that I'm here now at turn 3 with his rage already triggered is because I got all these hits from other enemies. Like, that would not be a normal case for the way that I play him, because I don't expect him to get hit. So he will probably only be able to do that on turn 4. And let's talk a little bit about the energy requirements now. So to use his skills, he needs 4 energy, right? Because this is 2 energy, the next 2 are 1 and 1. So every 2 turns, he needs 4 energy. He gets 2 natural energy regen, and then he also gets 2 more regen energy from the flag. So every 2 turns, he gets 4 energy, and he uses all 4 of them. So the only extra energy that he kind of needs is any turns where he has, if you're doing some kind of extra attack or something. But otherwise, this is already functioning well within his build. He needs 4 energy, he gets 4 energy every 2 turns, he does the same things. Everything is kind of working well. But if you have something else somewhere, maybe he got hit somewhere, like in my case, right? In the example that I showed you, he got attacked by enemies, so he was able to use his rage before we planned to, right? You're planning to use it on turn 4, but we were able to use it on turn 3 because he got hit by enemies. So in that case, you will need extra energy, and that extra energy can come from, say, Gloria or Edda, or the what is it called, urgent order, the tactics, things like that. You can give him energy that way to use it beyond what you've already planned for. But how this works itself, he has enough energy. He doesn't need extra energy to use, whatever I'm running with here. But if unexpected things happen, that he gets hit and he has extra rage than anticipated, then you need to find energy to give him to be able to use that. Or if you don't want to do that, you can just give him normal attacks. That's okay too. He'll do extra attacks. It'll be an extra charged normal attack, and it'll still do a lot of damage. So that's it for this video. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know also if you found other builds that you're using. I mean, a lot of people were talking about, yesterday, I talked about this and I said, I'm using these 2, and I got some comments saying, well, I don't really want him to get hit, or in boss fights, I don't want him to get hit. I want to use, I just want to attack, and so on and so on. So that got me thinking, and also I started playing around with him too in different compositions, and I found out that I also didn't want him to get hit. But that's because of, my team composition, and I want other people to get hit instead of him. It's not that I don't want him to get hit, I want other people to get hit instead. So that's how I came to this build. Anyway, that's it for this video. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care now.